The Bull Run Watershed in Portland, Oregon is well protected since the land is federally owned. It's safe from urban, industrial, and agricultural pollution, but it's a different story in Arkansas. Most of the land in our watersheds is held privately. Landowners feel attempts to tell them what to do with their property infringes on their rights. Others feel differently. Kate Altoff lives in Little Rock and has been fighting proposed developments by Deltic Timber and others for the past 3 years. Her group, Citizens Protecting Maumelle Watershed, is afraid the type of development seen around Beaver Lake will spread to Lake Maumelle, which provides drinking water to almost 400,000 people. What Kate and others wanted was a comprehensive plan to protect the lake and the watershed. It took months of negotiating and cost $1.2 million. But in early 2007, Central Arkansas Water published the Lake Maumelle Watershed Management Plan.
Here's this plan that we went through this very contentious process. They spent $1.2 million of the ratepayers' money. They passed the plan in February. And then in July, they tell the Waterview Estates investors that you can build in critical area A. After we spent all this time, we went to bat for the water department to have the right to condemn the land. We stood up and we told them repeatedly that we want to follow this watershed management plan. And before the ink is dry, seriously, they let Waterview Estates build in critical area A. After this long process, they told Deltic Timber, our policy is no development in critical area A. They go on to courts and they buy that land, the Nolan Ridges. What a day to celebrate. What a day to celebrate. And then they turn around and tell these folks that they can build in critical area A.
In the plan, the watershed was divided into 3 areas. The upper watershed lies west of the lake and surrounds the Maumelle River. Critical Area B encompasses most of the lake and land immediately around it. Critical Area A is on the eastern side of the lake and is considered to be the most sensitive area since it is closest to the intake. If contaminants are introduced into the upper watershed or Critical Area B, there's enough forested land to clean and assimilate those contaminants. However, in Critical Area A, the watershed is so narrow that neither the land nor the water could adequately clean new pollutants.
The basic fact is that Lake Maumelle is so shallow. It's only 26 feet deep. As I've gone through this process and I've gotten to know people and I've talked, what I have learned is that the general population does not understand that each body of water has its own unique characteristics. And when you are trying to assess the impact of one variable on the water quality, you've got to consider that whole micro system there. And they say, well, if you can build on Lake Hamilton, you can build on Gurus Ferry Lake, why not Lake Maumelle? And they don't understand that it is such a small little lake and that the slopes are high and that the soils are of a certain kind of content, all these little elements.
Pollution in watersheds come from 2 sources. Point pollution comes from a single source, like a pipe from a factory draining contaminated water directly into a stream, river, or lake. Non-point pollution can come from many different sources. Non-point pollution is the oil and other fluids that drip from cars and runs down the gutters and into the streams, and chemicals and fertilizers used on lawns that drain into the street. Basically, anything that's been dumped in a gutter or down a drain eventually finds its way into the lakes and streams as non-point pollution. That's why watersheds are so amazing and so important. They take all those chemicals and waste and manage to clean it so the water is drinkable. The water in Lake Maumelle is monitored by the U.S. Geological Survey.
This is a watershed, so we want to be really sure of what's going on, what's coming in. And anytime you have growth and development around a lake or a watershed, it's really a good idea to keep an eye on what kind of changes are happening or could possibly be happening. And that's what we're doing today. Anytime people are taking trees away, they're taking the filtration systems. You have chances for more sediment to run into your rivers or streams. It's just any change that can happen with taking the natural trees or rocks or anything that was put here naturally away, it will make a change in your water. So that's what we need to watch for. Each month we come out here, let me get this thing going. Each month we come out here and we go to 6 different locations on the lake, and we take samples. We take a profile, which is a sample. With this meter right here, we will take readings every 5 feet or 1 degree temperature change. And we go from the surface to the bottom of the water column. And from there, we'll take 3 different readings in the summertime. We'll take one 3 feet from the surface, a midsection, and then 3 feet from the bottom. At the same time, we'll take a water sample from those areas, and that sample is sent to our National Water Quality Lab at the USGS to be analyzed for different constituents or whatever the water department or our agency chooses for us to sample for. It changes from time to time, from season to season. Our water quality specialists and the water department, they work that out, and we just collect the sample.